When we were preparing our Look How Far We've Come in 10 Years script a few weeks back, our writer Morgan and I had a bit of a conversation about the Tesla Model 3 standard range, Tesla's entry-level $35,000-ish Model 3. That original vehicle, which Tesla announced at its original reveal event, was a variant which put Model 3 on par, or perhaps even a little cheaper, than other electric cars from rival mainstream brands. The Tesla Model 3 standard range, though, was a vehicle which quickly disappeared from Tesla's online ordering system when Tesla introduced the Standard Range Plus in its place. And as we detailed in our 10-year review video, Tesla instead made the Model 3 standard range a special order only vehicle, something you actually had to ring Tesla up in order to buy. When Morgan was preparing the script for that 10-year review, he called a couple of Tesla stores and noted that the company was a little cagey about what would happen to Model 3 standard range for the 2021 model year lineup. And boy did he call that, because it's now official. Tesla won't be offering the $35,000 Model 3 standard range anymore, which means that once Tesla has got through its backlog of in-stock cars, which can still be tweaked into a standard range configuration, the cheapest Tesla Model 3 that you're going to be able to buy from now on will cost $37,990 or equivalent, wherever you happen to be in the world. Oh, and just in case you're curious, we are using MSRP figures here. These do not include taxes or mandatory fees for things like documentation, destination, or registration, as they do vary in each country. Some people will undoubtedly be upset about this price change, and Tesla will come under some criticism for this move. After all, it does push the point of entry for Model 3 upwards and further cements the idea that Tesla isn't yet making an affordable electric car for everyone. But hang on, is it really a big deal that the Tesla Model 3 standard range is dead? So let's try and figure that out. Oh, and by the way, as a side note, Tesla's standard range Model 3, while originally $35,000, did quietly get a price increase last year to $35,400, and it's not available in all markets anyway, but that's a moot point. Before I come to the meat of the matter, which is essentially that the Model 3 got an 8.5% price increase for its entry-level model, let's look back at what standard range Model 3 was meant to be, and then what it kind of morphed into. When Model 3 was first revealed, Tesla planned to make Model 3 standard range a vehicle that would offer a reasonably affordable entry-level price point into the Tesla family. It was going to have a 50 kilowatt-hour battery pack, offer an EPA-approved range of approximately 220 miles, which is 354 kilometers, and have a more basic interior than some of the higher-priced Model 3 vehicles that Tesla wanted to make. Tesla's original plan was to replace the electronically adjustable heated seats of higher trim Model 3s with a completely manual setup. It would have a single-motor rear-wheel drivetrain, but would also offer less performance than the other rear-wheel drive Model 3s on account of the smaller battery pack. By the time, though, that vehicle was due to enter into production, Tesla had changed its plans. It already had received plenty of reservations for Model 3. Most of those had been converted to higher performance version purchases, and it had come out with a new model in the form of the Standard Range Plus. Just a skosh more expensive than the standard range, it featured the same electronically adjustable seats as higher trim Model 3s, had a slightly better interior, Tesla calls it partial premium, and both better range and performance than the standard range Model 3 promised. Launched at a little more than the base Model 3 price, it became the standard choice for most people wanting an entry-level Model 3. And for those who really wanted that $35,000 Model 3, Tesla sold what was essentially a Standard Range Plus with software locks on certain features in order to decontent the car. Owners could then add those features back after delivery by paying a fee to unlock them, in the same way that Tesla allows customers to unlock autopilot and full self-driving after purchase. Because so few people were ordering it, frankly most people just paid the few thousand extra dollars difference to go to the Standard Range Plus, that Model 3 standard range became the special order item. Today's confirmation that it's no longer going to be available at all is not a surprise, and frankly, I don't think it will be missed by that many people. Granted, it does push that price point up by 8.5%, and it does mean that some people will now find themselves priced out of Model 3 ownership or forced to save a little longer. However, let's be really clear. While $38,000 or just under is expensive for many new car buyers, it's not expensive when it comes to electric cars, because while electric cars are now offering more bang for your buck, or rather range for your buck, the effective entry-level price point hasn't really changed all that much. And while there are now more affordable models, you can get an entry-level Nissan Leaf from $31,600 in the US and the Hyundai Ioniq EV from $33,045, these two variants offer a far lower range per charge than the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. When you get into vehicles that offer a similar range, then you're looking at a similar price. The Nissan Leaf Plus with the larger battery pack, the Hyundai Kona EV, the Kia e-Niro and the Chevrolet Bolt EV are all at a similarly priced entry-level point to the Standard Range Plus Model 3. They each have their own positives and negatives, and frankly, that does seem to be the sweet spot now for EV pricing. I should of course also note that different markets have different pricing and availability. In Europe, for example, there are more affordable cars than the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. These still offer decent range, partly because of the higher price in some markets of Model 3, and partly because of different model availability as cross-shoppers, even though they're from different segments. Which brings me to the point of today's video. Is it really that much of a big deal that Model 3 Standard Range Plus is becoming the new entry-level model for Tesla? Honestly, no. Tesla has effectively made that car its flagship entry-level model for some time, and yes, while you could technically get a lower cost one if you wanted, I've heard a handful of people who actually purchased one, and of those people, a large number were news outlets or testing agencies. What's really sadder about this is the fact that Tesla hasn't been able to make a really affordable model yet, but this isn't Tesla's problem. Pretty much every other automaker is also failing to get a truly affordable electric car out there. And when I say affordable, I don't mean affordable for people who earn well above $100,000 a year. I mean affordable for people who are on the mean average salary for their country. In the United States, that's about $57,000 a year, in case you were interested. In some markets around the world, there are also hints that more affordable models are coming. In Europe, for example, the Dacia EV is promising a far more affordable solution, but again, it doesn't offer anywhere near the range of cars like the Model 3. And for some people, that is okay. As I said in another video recently, it's either range or price, and as a premium automaker, Tesla has gone with range and the ability to sell you extra features via over-the-air software updates. That is, if the idea of paying $10,000 at the point of purchase is too much to get a feature that isn't technically available yet. But that's for another video. And to be completely clear, Tesla is selling butt tons of Model 3s right now. There's an old adage that says something is the right price when people will pay that price for it, and it seems to be the case for Tesla. The entire auto industry needs to get better at offering budget-optioned EVs that are much less than the sticker price entry point for the Bolt, Model 3, e-Niro and Kona EV. And that is something for the entire industry to solve, though, not just Tesla, because in order for the world to transition to electric vehicles, we need electric vehicles at Toyota Celica money or Nissan Micra money or whatever other budget-oriented entry-level car you can think of. And when I say budget, I do mean well-built vehicles from a mainstream brand, not low-cost cars from a startup that may or may not be well-known and may or may not have a particularly reliable after-sales experience. I'm not naming names here, but I suspect if you watch the channel regularly, you might know which recently introduced car company into the US I'm referring to. And as an extension to the discussion of more affordable cars, to Tesla's credit, it is working on longer range, lower cost battery packs, something we heard about on Battery Day. Sure, it may be 2 or 3 years before Tesla's fleets are using these new cells, but if and when that switch happens, we should also see it more likely that Tesla will be able to produce a more affordable car. I acknowledge that's what we said of Tesla when it was making the S and we were looking towards Model 3, so only time will tell to see if that magic $25,000 Tesla will actually arrive, or like Model 3, become more premium in its pricing over time. Before I go, there is one other thing I know people might ask. What about Canada, where Tesla has made a Model 3 available with a 150 kilometre, that's 93-mile range? Will that model still be available? In order to explain this, I feel I need to explain why that car exists in the first place. You see, under Canadian law for EV incentives, in order to be eligible for incentives, a car has to have a base price of under a set amount. The automaker can make more expensive variants of that car and still get all of those models eligible for the incentive, as long as there's a base model existing below that entry point. And that's what Tesla did in Canada in order to get its customers a little extra financial help. It doesn't even matter if nobody buys it, Tesla just had to offer it. I'm guessing, since this particular model is a software-limited thing, that Tesla will continue to offer it in Canada to ensure that customers who buy more expensive Model 3s can continue to earn Canadian incentives. But since Tesla doesn't answer emails from the press anymore, honestly, I am still trying to find that one out. In the short term, though, the Tesla Model 3 standard range is dead. Long live the Standard Range Plus. And frankly, I don't think Tesla's bottom line will take any kind of hit as a consequence. That's it for today. As always, thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month Patreons, that's John Lyons, Regine Fellows, Jeffrey Songster, and Tesla in the Gong. And our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Sean Ueda, Will Graylin, and Ian. You could join all of these fantastic Patreon supporters by becoming one yourself through following the links below. You'll also find links to show how you can make a donation through Ko-fi or Bitcoin. You'll also find a link to our free Discord server, so sign up and come and join in the fun. It costs nothing. And if you're in need of some swag, do check out our merch over at Redbubble. The holiday season is nearly upon us, and it is a great time to get yourself some TE swag for your loved ones, all while supporting the channel and not having to go out into the COVID world. After the names have finished scrolling, you're going to see a suggestion for a new video to watch, so please consider watching it if you haven't, and I will be back very soon. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!